it.
All right, all right. Todd
Yes, sir.
Selva, Jeff Moulton, MVP Strength, Get Fit Weekly. Today we're
What up? What
talking
up?
about the keys to building strength and muscle in overtraining or under recovering, as we like to call it. I'm here with my man Jeff.
What up? What up?
Jeff, where are you from? Tell us about yourself.
Quick little preview of me. Originally from North Adams, Mass, and basically was that 16 to 19-year-old kid, really thin, insecure, got into fitness just to, build muscle, get stronger, improve my physique, build some confidence. And then that led me down the road of going to do my associates, my bachelor's in exercise science, moved out to Boston, coach clients out there at Equinox, private studio. I've kind of been all over in the area, so I've coached in every type of setting, but at the end of the day, I got into this to help people, and and that's kind of what we're doing today. Just tell people a little bit more, educate them, and that's a quick version of my journey to get here.
Yeah, man, same thing. You know what I mean? Just putting it out there to help people have a little bit of fun with it. You and I tend to have like good conversation when it comes to like training, injuries, nutrition, mindset, goal setting, pretty much anything that just involves like pushing yourself to a different degree than the average person who walks around does. So these podcasts, I'm super excited to do them. The topics we come up with, or I'm always excited about them before we even jump on and do them. So I'm super happy to be here, and let's get rolling with it, man.
Absolutely. And I topic one, when we go dive into this, building muscle, building strength, for me, this is one of my favorite things because it stems back to why I got into training, man. And I think, as we dive into some more, it starts with the mindset, but then as we dig into this, the training side, the strength training side, I think most people underestimate really, kind of what it takes and the consistency it takes to do it. When you first start getting into strength training, it's like you get this response, right? You go in, you start training, you start working out, your first 6 months to a year, you get some good results, and then you kind of plateau, and I think that's where it comes into having a good program, like, with MVP or getting a coach and someone that can structure things and really get things to take you to the next level. And it's really important, number one is bringing that intensity. For me, intensity has been huge. And obviously you being an MMA guy back in the day, strength conditioning guy, for me, intensity is the number one thing you got to have. And if you're not willing to put in the work and you start going through the motions, it can be difficult to see results. You don't want to be that person every week coming to the gym, week after week, month after month, year after year. You look the same, your weights haven't gone up. So it's really bringing that intensity. And it doesn't mean doing a million sets of everything. It's coming in, working hard, and then getting out. You don't have to spend hours in the gym. And, I'll let you talk about it, but the stuff you guys do, down there, it's short, but you work your ass off in that short period of time.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? And what we've done is we've taken a good fine combination of like, old school, like 90s, like Arnold Schwarzenegger days, like lifting in the old power lifts with like modern day, high intensity functional fitness workouts, powerlifting and a little bit of Olympic lifting type stuff like that. And we put it together all in a combination of like, with the way that I used to train myself as an MMA fighter and train other MMA fighters too, it boils down to just what you said is like training intensity is everything, no matter what type of training you're doing. I love it all. I've been doing intense yoga class. I don't strike most
Hot
people.
Yoga, man, is rough.
Yeah, I don't strike most people as like a yoga type of guy or whatever. So it's something I'm willing to try out anything once. Step aerobics was another one of them. Walked out of there, didn't pick up more than 10-pound dumbbells, right?
Right.
And it was a guy like I'm throwing around 70s or 80s, at the time. And it's like 10 pounds is nothing, but I walked out there dripping sweat, head to toe in 60 minutes time. Fast forward to current times, it's like, 30 minutes, 40 minutes worth of training. If you're going like max effort, you have short rest periods and you're really pushing yourself. It's just crazy to talk to people that it's like, geez, I used to work out for like, an hour and a half, 2.5, 3 hours. I'm like, who's got time in a day for that? Unless that's your full-time job is to train. But it's like, how many calories you're burning at that time? Burning like, 230, 330 calories come into the gym and train like that for 45 minutes and burn like 700 calories. So no matter what you're doing, like I say yoga, even why you think those people, you can like fold them in half, right? Those yoga chicks, you
Right.
know, in like gymnasts, guys, and usually like MMA fighters, some wrestlers and stuff, super flexible. So it's like whatever your training style is or whatever your goals are, go with that intensity. You're guaranteed to get results and lasting results at that if you continue to do it over and over again.
Yeah, and I think half of it's too is especially like when we talk about the strength conditioning stuff, the classes at MVP, or just, you know, training in a group setting in general. I think there's such a benefit to that for a lot of people where this is where the big box gyms, the, you know, the one-on-one personal training at times can be tough. If you can afford a trainer and get a trainer and a coach, you know, that's awesome. But the majority of people struggle with paying those high-end rates on a day-to-day basis. But what's cool is a lot of those people lack self-motivation. They struggle on the day-to-day to stay on track. And what's cool is if you can get in an environment in a group setting that can help keep you on track, like it's a win-win situation. And that goes into that training intensity. Sometimes you on your own, you don't have that intensity, but if you can get into the room, the music's blast and you're hyped up, that's where the training intensity plays a huge part into it. And then it comes to the training side, we can kind of go into a little bit, and it's creating a new stimulus at all times, right? It's not always coming in, doing the same monotonous things over and over again, not getting the results that you want. Now, it's like you can go in and slowly do that on your own, but at the same time, like, how are you programming your workouts? And that's what's cool is you have to always be pushing with the intensity to get a little bit better, a little bit stronger, and then also the stimulus changing, doing a different movement. You know, one day you're doing push-ups, one day you're doing bench press, one day you're doing overhead press, one day you're doing, you know, dumbbell press. I mean, always changing that up to create that new stimulus is going to get you stronger and get you to the point where you're building muscle. And that's a big part that comes into it. And, you know, and I know that's a lot of the stuff that we really preach is having a diverse training style, not always doing the same thing.
Absolutely. I mean, go back to the days of like the one-on-one training, like you're talking about. And I was a one-on-one trainer in those big box gyms. People that know me, maybe a handful of people that are watching this right now, can go back to the days of the Gold's gyms down in West Springfield and Chicopee and stuff. Walking around those gyms, and it's like everybody would ask me for, you know, get a new client. My job wasn't to like sign up people on training. My job was to train the clients. So give me a new client. Every client's like, oh, great, killer workout. I want a routine. Can you write me out a 3-day-a-week routine or a 5-day-a-week routine? And I was bad. I was the trainer and never wrote anything down. It was all up here. Yeah, fast forward nowadays, everything's electronic. It's crazy how that works, and everything's
Right.
documented. But you know, in my opinion, I said, you know, hey, routine's the enemy. And you want to know why? My thought process is like that. Your body becomes accustomed to the same repetitive, boring crap over and over again. You're not challenging yourself in different ways, and you're not hitting different parts of your body. So I've always been a more bang for your buck kind of guy. So even when I was like working with figure competitors or guys that were doing like men's physique or whatever, those guys we would do like when we're training like lats or whatever, we'd be training lats. We'd also be training like biceps the same day, and then we'd be hitting like a deadlift or some sort of a multi-joint movement as well. And it took a little bit of while to get a lot of these guys to come around and these
Right.
girls to come around, but when they finally like understood like where I was coming from with it, and then they actually seen the results, you know, it's just a game changer. So I'm a big fan of always changing up your routines, not getting stuck into any type of particular, use the word routine, but changing up your training programs, always doing something different. Keep your body guessing, keep challenging your mind, keep changing your body in different ways every time you train. And I think I do intensity. I love it, man. I'm a pretty intense kind of guy when I train, when I coach, and the intensity is everything. Without intensity, I feel like on the long term, you have nothing.
Yeah, you don't. And to your point, you know, that being said, to anyone that's training on their own and doing these bodybuilding splits, you're talking to a guy that competed in bodybuilding, that loves bodybuilding. You know, you can still progressive overload in that aspect, right? You move the weights up, change the angles, change the stuff. But the goal of training is training specific to what your goal in life is. Are you trying to build biceps? Are you trying to build shoulders? Are you just trying to like improve mobility, improve performance, get stronger, be dynamic, and do all these different movements? Because bodybuilders, that old school style and method, you may be, build big muscles, get stronger, but a lot of the time you're not doing the little things, the little stability muscles, you're not doing a lot of the movement patterns that, would help you on day-to-day routines. And there's a lot of imbalances. You get strong in really one-dimensional way, and you're also building muscle for an aesthetic purpose, not a functional purpose. So I think that's the other part too, is when you go into training, is before you start going, is like, what is your goal, right? If you're losing weight, do you want to feel better? Do you want to move better? Is it, because that really changes the game of what you want. And that's a lot of the stuff when you're doing these, strength conditioning type classes, and or you're doing it on your own from home or at the gym. You got to think about what the main goal is in the first place. And the last thing I'll say to building muscle side is, we talked a lot about the training, the intensity, pushing yourself. We didn't go into specific details on like how to build the splits and stuff, but this is for everyone that's really at MVP right now and that's looking for something, and that's where all the classes are built, and then it's a very dynamic, well-versed, you're doing tons of different things. But a lot of the clients that we work with, and I especially do a lot of the one-on-one nutrition stuff with, is making sure you're eating enough to perform, to get stronger, to build muscle. Like, that's huge. Like, you got to eat for fuel. Like, your body needs calories, it needs food. Food is fuel. And that's a huge part of getting stronger and building muscle. Stop worrying about, restricting all the time. Even if your goal may be weight loss, if you don't have any muscle or strength in the first place, you're just going to be very thin and you're going to be weak, and you don't want to do that. So eating enough to perform, get stronger, build muscle, it's something else to think about, man. And, I'll flip it to you and we go to the sec part. It's kind of a good transition. We're talking about getting stronger. We're talking about building muscle, pushing yourself hard in the gym. The intensity's high, but there's another piece to that component, and that's like recovery, and I'll flip it to you, but recovery is really, really important. And there's so many different situations I've ran into that people just train hard. They don't eat enough. They don't sleep. They're just burnt out. They're high stress. They work too much, and there's no balance.
Absolutely. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Jeff, and I love that topic. I work with clients that overtrain as well. I have handful of people that do 2-a-days, like every day, like 6 days a week, and then they're out running on Sunday. Like, hey, I love that, but you know what? A lot of the elite level MMA fighters and like CrossFit athletes, pick your most highest performance sport in the world that you can think of. They're not training that much, right? And they're training for professional competition at a professional level, an elite level. If they don't need to train like that, why does someone, non-competitive person, I'm just in it to get fit, be healthy, live a longer life, and be happy about myself, right? Why do I need to work out for 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, every day a week without rest? I think the answer is, we both know the answer is, I don't need to, right?
Yeah. So,
kind of going backwards a little bit, but on your topic with the food, right? With the with fuel in the machine, right?
Yeah.
I'm an analogy kind of guy when I explain it to people, and I know you've been there through a little bit of this, where it's like, how many times have we given clients, like female clients that are plateaued, not hitting their weight loss goals or their muscle definition goals, right? And give them like 400 to 500 calories a day more, and the body fat percentage goes down, right?
Yeah.
So again, like you call it feeding the machine. I say food is fuel. It's like putting gas in the tank of a car. Very simple. If there's no gas in the tank, you're just running on fumes. You're going to be slow, sluggish, weak, not motivated, no energy. And then you go into the gym and then you try to work out. Your workout is only going to be as good as you make it by fueling yourself to come in. So if you're not fueling yourself for that workout, and then you want to add, so I think it goes kind of hand in hand with the rest and recovery. Food is fuel, workouts, rest and recovery, I think all equals results. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And I would argue that's the problem with some people. It's like so many people, because of society, it's work more, do more, and you get more. But in training, it's not necessarily that. It's training hard for a period of time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it may be. And then it's resting. It's the 23 hours that you're not in the gym, getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, drinking a gallon of water a day, eating enough calories to demand whatever your body's doing,
And
it,
seltzers, gallon of
and
water
drinking
and
and getting
seltzers.
and getting sponsored by Polar because Todd drinks 100 seltzers a day. So, but that's the thing. I think, hydrating is another thing we talked about in the past, but it's crazy because I think a big of it's our culture, and we always have to do more, work harder. And I think at the end of the day, it's not about how much you're doing. It's about doing it consistently day over day over day and recovering day over day over day. And, if you're working out 3 to 5 days a week at a high intensity, obviously if you can do more, the odds of you getting better results when it comes to like 5 days a week training, something like that, you're going to end up probably getting more results. But that pairs with, are you sleeping enough? Are you eating enough? And are you hydrating? That's a huge part into the recovery process. And, not to get super in depth, but like if you're not getting enough calories to maintain your body weight, how do you expect to create new muscle tissue and grow and get stronger? How do you expect your body to recover if it's not getting enough just to function as in general? Early on, if you're a little bit more overweight, you can eat less calories and get away with it because your body's new. But as you get leaner, you're going to feel fatigued. You're going to get headaches. You're going to get tired. Your performance is going to go down. And that's all a good, all a sign if you're overtraining that you are overtraining and that you're probably not eating enough and not sleeping enough. It's two big things, man. And I can't preach it enough is I find myself on that fine line of being very competitive and wanting to do more and more and more. But then like today I'm taking off because it was a specific workout I wanted to do and I'm just not ready. My body's not ready. And instead of grinding through it, taking a day to recover so you can maximize the next workout and, not getting in your own head that, oh, I'm going to be weak now. No, you're going to perform more optimally tomorrow, but I still got out and walked for an hour, drank water, ate food, and recovered. And you got to have the mindset, this is a long-term change. We run challenges that push people hard, but that's seeing, what mentally you're capable of doing in 30 days and physically capable of doing. And then it's transitioning to something a little more long-term now that you've convinced and built that mindset that you can do this.
Basically, yeah, man. And it's the bigger thing for me with overtraining is like you're more at risk for injury. You know what I mean? So like today's Thursday. So today was my off day, just going on what you said. I trained Monday, I trained Tuesday,
Yep.
I trained Wednesday. Today's going to be my off day. I'm going to train Friday and Saturday. Sunday might be a stroll through the woods with the dog and the kid or something like that, just to stay moving. But when you overtrain, you never give your body enough time to recover, and then you go right back into like some strenuous activity, or just especially if you're doing high intensity training, or like any type of real like free weight training, CrossFit, Olympic lifting, any of that type of stuff. Or if you're an athlete and God forbid you're overtraining and you're doing things like vertical jump and all that, you're much more higher risk for injury than you are if you just simply like slowed it down, took the day off, and took a rest. But if you're training like 7 days a week, I mean, baby steps. I try to encourage people. Let's do a 6 day a week program. Let's train 3 days on, take a day off in between, train 3 more days on. And I'll tell you what, every single workout does not have to be a home run, like swing for the fences on intensity workout. If you're just doing enough, sometimes less is more, right?
Yeah.
I definitely feel like sometimes less is more. And you mentioned like certain styles of training or people training a certain way and not hitting everything that they need to hit. So like there's days that I slow down and I'm going to focus on me specific things. So here's a perfect scenario. If it's group fitness, you're training in a group environment, that's great, because every time you guarantee you're going to have a high intensity workout, you guarantee you're going to push yourself both physically and mentally, guaranteed you got a support group there and you're having fun and everything. That's badass. That's killer. That's great. And I love that. And I'm all about that. And that's what we do in my place. But how are you individualizing for yourself, for your specific goals, your specific body type, and your specific needs? And if you have an injury or an ache, a pain, a tweak, what are you doing to work on that? So
Yeah.
sometimes just simply slowing it down doing some functional movements with a little bit of weight or sometimes just your body weight and doing like a recovery day with some soft tissue work with the foam roller, some stretching, little light kettlebell work, and just basically spanking your heart rate up so you're burning enough calories in with the weight training, is a win-win, you know, and you don't feel like you worked nearly as hard as say the previous 3 days. But I can almost guarantee you that if you take a day like that out of your week and you do that, you will go home feeling less exhausted. And when you do sleep at night and you recover, you probably will fully recover more than you did previously, ultimately getting better results at the end of the day.
And shout out to Michelle Crobeth. She said, "What's up?" So she was on Facebook saying, "What's
Yeah,
up?"
what's good, Crobeth?
So yeah, it's I'm glad you brought that part up when it comes to the recovery side, because doing those little things on your own time, not, you know, like we just said, you can get a good workout in a short period of time, whether you're on your own at the gym, whether you're in a group setting in the gym. But like you said, if you don't do those little things of soft tissue work, foam rolling, using lacrosse balls, mobility, dynamic warm-ups, cool down, stretching, those are all keys to the puzzle, pieces to the puzzle that if you don't have, that you're doing at least after a workout or on your own, at least, you know, a handful of days a week, that's where down the road, you know, as you get stronger, you build that muscle, you could get tight, you could have imbalances, and then it starts to spiral, and then that's where injuries occur. So it's better to be proactive. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a huge part when it comes to overtraining. Sometimes you just get so tight, so bound up, and, you know, you just are constantly focused on building muscle and getting stronger, not taking care of
Yeah.
how you move.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, my shoulder's really hurting me today. You know, I'm gonna man up. I'm just gonna push through it. Or I even have girls say that to me, and it's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's hold it up right there. You know, think about what you just said. You know, where's the pain? Let's figure out what it is. Do you feel like it's a major injury? But maybe you ought to take the day off, use some ice. Maybe you ought to grab a little resistance band, do some external rotations, do some range of motion work on some you specific stuff rather than just pushing through the pain to be killer. Sometimes pushing through is going to end up getting you injured. Maybe not that very time. Maybe it's a week or 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 12 weeks down the road. But maybe you ought to look at what the issue is and resolve that issue before we just go, quote unquote, pushing through. You know, that little accessory work and that you specific stuff. You know, if you've got back pain, working on, like, is your pelvis neutral? What do we need to do to neutralize the pelvis so that when you're throwing around 315 pounds, you're not at risk for injury, right?
Yep.
The better you can move, the more weight you're going to be able to move, right? The better your workout's going to be, the better your results are going to be. But if you move pretty well, right, and you have imbalances, say you've got some pelvic tilt, you got some back pain or whatever, and you can throw around, say, random 315 on a bar, that's great. Imagine what you could do if your pelvis was neutral and you didn't have those imbalances. You actually worked on them just 5 minutes a day. Like, that's it. Yeah. You're in the gym all the time anyway. So I'm a big fan and a big fanatic, Jeff, of working on you specific stuff and spending 5 minutes a day, no matter what your goals are, just to make yourself more mobile, more strong, more stable, and just more ready for your workout at hand.
To flip it back to the top, for one of the last things I got on my end is again, if you're overtrained, you're going to end up potentially wearing down your body, getting weaker and not getting stronger for sure, obviously, and losing muscle tissue because you're probably overtrained. You're burning more calories than you're taking in. You're in a caloric deficit. Your body's just beat up. So now you start breaking down muscle tissue. So the whole point of training was to build muscle, get stronger. And, you know, now you're undereating, you're overtrained, you're burning tons of calories, and your body's beat up. So obviously, like, there's, me and you both love, like, how someone comes in and is like, let's fucking go. Like, yes.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, and then it's like, then sometimes it's like, okay, pull the reins back. You can't train 7 days this week. Like, we need to slow down a little. But it's like, we love that. But at the same time, it's that balance, because you will break down eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. I mean, I've been there, done that. I've trained injured. I'm not sitting here saying I'm
me
perfect. You know, any fighters, you know, train injured. You know, if you go into a fight 100%, that's like, yeah, you're kind of full of it, if you ask me, because I feel like nobody's ever really 100% going in. But you know, doing that type of stuff, it's like I've learned from my own mistakes. So goal here is to use my own personal experiences and make sure to educate and help other people so they don't do it and understand the importance of it. Ultimately, you're going to make your own decision and do what you want to do. The decision that's right at the time might not be the best decision on the long term for you, but yeah, I mean, slow it down, get some rest, get some sleep, drink plenty of water, you know, work on some you specific stuff, do some accessory work, you know, mobilize your hips, lengthen your hamstrings, stretch your hips, lengthen your spine, flex and extend your spine, you know, do some rotations, get out, go for a light jog, you know, on days that you can't be in the gym throwing weights around, get out for a hike, get out for a walk. These are all good tips, you know, to keep you going in the right direction and not giving you a major setback.
Yeah, set attainable goals. At the end of the day, that's that's the last thing I got on this, because I think at the end of the day, you set attainable goals, set something that's realistic to you. Don't say you're going to do 6 and then do 4 and then be pissed off and upset and quit. Set something you can do. Set 3, set 4, whatever it is. If you hit 4, if you hit 5, like it's a bonus, And then once you start crushing 3, do 4. Set a goal with nutrition. Set a goal, with your sleep. Set a goal on these little things. And at the end of the day, setting a sleep goal, which can be hard at times, obviously, but planning your meals out, planning your workouts out, and then learning your body and not being afraid of and you start to learn the difference of being sore, difference of being fatigued, the difference of like joint pain or something doesn't feel right. And over time you start to learn, but this is a journey, man, one day at a time. You just got to keep crushing it and do your best to just get 1% better each day.
For sure, man. 1% better equals winning. So, number winners here.
Yes, sir.
Right,
let's get it.
All right, guys. Todd, thanks for watching. Todd Selva, Jeff Moulton, MVP Get Fit Weekly. Catch you next week.
See you guys later. See ya.